Live, and it is Thursday. I blinked, okay, and it was Thursday. The week just roared by again, and that's okay. You see, there's a little tiny scripture that says, "Do not grow weary in doing good." Hmm? There's a reason for that. As humanity, sometimes we tend to give up when we don't see things moving the way we want them to. Natural, it is. But when you are wanting to change your life and you are applying these principles, it takes practice. I remember that one line from The Matrix when Neo asked Morpheus, "Why do my eyes hurt?" He said, "Because you've never used them before." Do you get what that means? No. You've never used them before. It means you've been unaware before. So when you become aware of things, it can be overwhelming. Because sometimes it feels like it's hitting you all at once. This is going on, that's going on, this is going on, that's going on. And the very things you thought you knew are now, for lack of a better phrase, ripped from under you. And you feel like betrayed by life. You feel like you've been lied to. That's what awareness can feel like at times. But really and truly, I get it. It can be overwhelming to come into this awareness. But you see, built into the awareness, this is what I love about it. Built into the awareness is the ability to anchor oneself so that you don't feel overwhelmed. There is, remember the principles, right? We are meant to be comfortable. Oh, Angela. Yes, we are meant to be comfortable. Look at the evidence. See, we're meant to be satisfied. Look at the evidence. When you eat your favorite thing, you drink your favorite thing, what you say? Satisfaction. Everything ends toward satisfaction. It just does, because that is the design. So the thing that you want to accomplish is not meant to frustrate you because, oh, I don't have the right connections. It is not meant to frustrate you. You're supposed to be satisfied with the goal or the desire that you accomplish. But where we lose ourselves is because we don't see it happening right away. That's what's going on. We don't see it happening right away, so we think it's not possible. Ain't nothing ever gonna change. Foolishness. Lies you tell. That's what we think. And we say, you think after 30 years I can change? You think after, I don't think. I know. But it takes practice. You see, we get up and we do the same thing every day. We are creatures of habit. How many times have you heard that? But do you comprehend what it means? That is the principle of rhythm at work. Oh, sweetie, you're all right? Oh, I hear you. hmm Um, the principle of rhythm tells us that there is an ebb and there is a flow. Right now, we're heading into the flow with all of these claims and the repairs for these claims, like it is madness. you go from a quiet day to one where what end is up. Like, but if you pay attention, you'll realize that everything has an ebb and a flow. We have a funny word for the stock market: the bull and the bear. It is ebb and flow. Watch it. Things recede, right? The price dips and it climbs. It dips and it climbs. They tell you buy low, sell high. Hello, that is ebb and flow. People say the stock market is unpredictable. Just pay attention. You see, it is unpredictable in that you don't know when somebody's going to manipulate it. That's all you know. We don't know when somebody's going to manipulate it and muck around with it to make things rise and fall, quote unquote, unnaturally. We don't know when that part's happening. But if you watch it, you will see. You hear about, oh, look, there's a housing bubble. Watch. And you will always see an ebb and a flow. And if you watch the ebb and flow long enough, a pattern emerges. Oh my. A pattern emerges. You cannot hide the pattern. I'm sorry. It can't be hidden. You may think you don't see it. It just takes practice to see it. For instance, we would say that everybody wants you to subscribe now, right? You got to pay this monthly fee. Look around you. That's the direction that everything is going in. And it seems to be pulling towards this peak. And everybody wants to get in on it. You see what I'm saying? Well, you must know that if it flows, it has to ebb. Do you know when the ebb will come? No, but you know it will. The ebb is inevitable. So long as there is a flow, there will be an ebb because they go together. Ebb and flow, which means what you are dealing with on a daily basis has moments in it when it recedes. Look at quote unquote bipolar, yeah? Manic depressive was a better way of saying it because you knew what you were dealing with. One day you're up, the whole house is clean in 30 seconds, and the next moment, nobody can even roll you from anywhere. You're up, you're down, you're up, you're down. Now remember that rhythm compensates. However high you go is how low you will be. Watch it, pay attention, and you will see the level of intensity is always matched. But you see, to recognize it takes practice. But that song, I'm in a hurry to get things done, right? I tell you, I listen to country music all day. But we rush, and we rush, and we rush, and we rush, and we rush. Always in a hurry, but never quite seemingly to get anywhere. It takes practice for you to recognize that you're rushing. You know, if you pay attention, like when I was in school and we were learning Twina, my professor would always come around and touch my shoulders. And she'd say, drop your shoulders, Angela. You're wearing them like earrings. How bloody well long have I been doing that? Probably my whole life. And it has to do with the fact that chances are to be that anxious and not know it because you've never looked. It's just so natural to you. It takes on the tones of reality. So it takes practice to see what you are doing. Some people hold their breath and they breathe because oxygen is required. So you can't hold it indefinitely. But they've practiced holding it. And so you practice holding your breath. and then you breathe, you hold it, and then you breathe, you hold it, and you breathe, and that's how you live. And you think you're actually breathing, when in actuality, you're holding your breath and only triggered because oxygen is required. But you can't see it because you've been doing it forever. But when you recognize that you're doing it, it will take practice for you because you've been doing it for so long. It became your what now? Your rhythm. And because it is a rhythm, it can be a little tricky and we can miss it at times. And this is why the act of self-observation is important. You're not watching yourself to judge yourself. You're watching yourself to make sure that you're inhaling and exhaling instead of inhaling and holding. And then you have to breathe again. So your brain is like, hello, tap, tap, tap. What are we going to do here? So you see, it just takes practice. But because we don't see a change happening right away, we give up. We say, nothing is changing. See, I told you that doesn't work. But if you walk with the attitude of, listen, if there is an ebb, honey, there will be a flow. Because ebb and flow all day long, ebb and flow all day long. You know it. And this is how any business person can tell you that there's a lull in the business. Because they've seen it, right? They see when they're real busy and then they see when they slow down. They're like, whoa, we need to up our marketing. Not necessarily. But if you pay attention, when you are in the ebb, you will do something when you're in the ebb because the ebb will cause you, if you pay attention to it. Just like how I said, when you have a lull in the business, then that's when you do some marketing. Bring attention because you have time. You bring attention to what's going on in your business because you have time. But when you're in the flow, hello, you are busy. You don't got time to market because you're busy. You're swamped. You run off your feet. But what you can do in that space of flow, and you want to keep the momentum going, you do referrals because you're so busy and that you're on the forefront of everybody's mind. So you might as well do referrals. See, one pays attention and we think, listen, I don't even know where that came from for me, but it just did. Just popped out of my mouth because I don't know anything about marketing. I know a lick about marketing, okay? That's not my forte. But if you pay attention and you observe, which takes practice, you will begin to see the ebb and the flow. You will begin to see the behaviors and the patterns of people. See, just there's a difference, you know, but you got to pay attention to see it. And when you are, here's the beauty of awareness. When you are observing the self and you see how you're behaving and you recognize that you're being a bad girl, a bad boy, and you say, oh, I don't like how I respond to things like that. When you see that part, you clap your hands with glee and you say, oh my God, I found you. I found this hidden little thing. You found the weevil in your rice. Hello? If you washed your rice, you know what I'm talking about. Before you cook it, if you wash your rice before you cook it, you'll find all kinds of goodies in there. Because you're looking. And when you're looking, you find that little thing that's been, you know, ribbing you this whole time. It is with excitement that you say, oh, snap. You can't. You cannot control me anymore. I see you now. Because you paid attention and you can see that thing, that quote unquote perceived weakness. Is it a weakness though? It's just something you've been doing. So when you see it, you say, oh, look at that. I see it. I know what I want to do with this now. I don't want it to be this, so I'm going to mold and shape myself into the new thing. You see, now if that excitement drives you, remember, as within, so without, the excitement to change will drive you, as opposed to, ugh, I got another problem. Didn't I just find a problem last week? Why can't I get a break from these problems? Oh my God. Look at it. Look at the beauty of what you've been given. You don't have to suffer anymore because you can see that thing. You can see the speck of dust in your eye. Hello. But you know what we do? You know I'm going to say it. We walk around and we look at the, oh Lord. Let me say it the right way. We get to see the plank in our own eye. Hello. If you're so busy looking at your life with glee to know that you can change the situation, that's a plank in your eye that you couldn't see before. Look at the analogy, a plank in your eye. How does one miss a plank in the eye? Do you know what a plank is? This giant flat piece of plywood. And you can miss that. Man, you get an eyelash in your eye and you're jumping around trying to get that bad boy out. And it's only an eyelash. But you're going to miss a whole plank? Oh, that scripture is telling you about unawareness. You see, sometimes we're so busy, we don't see the plank in our own eye, but we got time to talk about a speck of dust in our brother's eye. Oh, look at you. Who do you think you are? But if you would turn your attention, by way of practicing on a daily basis, towards yourself, you will identify the plank that you've been missing. And then you identify it. You know how good it feels to get that eyelash out of your eye, right? Yeah. Well, then you recognize the plank in your own eye. You will say, hallelujah, can I get an amen? I'm free at last. Why would you say that? Because now that you have identified the problem, you found the solution simultaneously. Of course you have. You look at your life and you say, wait, I've been doing the same thing over and over and over and over. So much so that I couldn't even see it anymore. Well, then your freedom comes when you recognize the plank and you say, I don't want a plank, but I would prefer to see this. I would prefer to act and behave this way. And you start, because naturally you'll start to see yourself doing it. In your mind's eye, you'll start to see yourself doing it. Naturally, that's what we do. We rehearse. And we have these inner conversations naturally. And there's a particular conversation that you're going to come across that feels real and natural to you, and you will do it every single day. Every moment of the day that you get an ebb and the flow, in the ebb, that conversation will come up. Oh, in the ebb, the conversation will come up because you have time. But in the flow, when you're busy, there is no time because you're fully engaged. But the moment that ebb comes and you are disengaged from an action, oh, up comes the old habit, yes? That says, are you sure? You really think you can change? I've been with you so long. You need me, darling. I give you confidence, you know, because I'm predictable. So you see, you need me. That's how the old habit will talk to you because familiarity breeds contempt. It thinks because it's been with you for so long that it has the right to remain. But you, in your awareness, you simply say, oh, you poor thing, you don't want to go? That's okay. You don't have to. You don't have to go home, hunty, but you got to get the hell on up out of here, is what you'll tell it. And how do you tell it that? By doing the new thing. By feeling the new mood deliberately. Because when you're feeling the new mood deliberately, you are in the flow. And when you are in the flow, go with the flow. Ow. Go with the flow. And recognize that when the ebb comes, you know how to act. You'll start to act better in the ebb and not let that old thing intimidate you. And you will not let it rule you from the shadows any longer because you can now see it. But you see, it takes practice. Our facilitator was kind of cool, and he says, we've always heard practice makes perfect. He goes, no, it doesn't. Practice makes permanent. Which in itself is true yet not true. It makes it permanent. But remember, nothing is permanent. Oh, except for the principles, nothing is permanent. Why do I say nothing is permanent? Because you have the ability to change. So nothing can be permanent. You can't permanently do the same thing over and over and over. It appears to be permanent because you are unaware. But if you recognize that nothing is permanent, that you can change, well, then you think you'll walk around with your shoulders dragging? No. You'll have those bad boys up and back. Why? Because if you are on Fanbase this morning, you can see my PTR. That's your feller, Popcorn. Hello, look at Popcorn. Popcorn does not walk with his head down, okay? Popcorn walks with his head up and that chest out, and he struts. Because he knows who he is. So you have to walk through the life that we're living right now with that same attitude. You want me to be cocky, Angela? Oh, Jesus. That is not what I'm saying to you. I'm not saying for you to be arrogant to me, cocky. I'm saying to you, walk with the confidence in the law that you can change your situation and nothing is permanent for you. That's the confidence you walk in, to know that, oh, I can change. What? I said, I can change. Yeah, I can change. And the moment you recognize that, can't nobody break my stride. Nobody gonna slow me down. Oh no. I got to keep on moving. See, when you recognize that, now you walk with a surety of self. But it takes practice. It takes practice to get the new behavior that you flow into to be the same behavior you're going to ebb with. Say it again, Angela. It will take you practice to move in the flow with that new behavior so that you will move in the ebb with it. You want to take it with you deliberately. So just celebrate the fact, because the moment you celebrate the fact that you're a changed person, but you didn't change because you did it with blood, sweat, and tears. You did it with awareness. How'd you do it? With awareness. Well, how so, Angela? Because you recognized, you became aware of what you are doing. And not only did you become aware of what you're doing, but you know by way of principle that, wait a minute, girl, if there is an ebb, there will be a flow. How do you know for sure? Can you take that to the bank? Oh, yes, you can. Because there will be a high tide and a low tide. There will be springtime. There will be harvest. There will be summer, winter, fall, spring. Ebb and flow, y'alls. That's what it means. You can take that to the bank because you know you like ants. Go to the ant, thou sluggard. Consider her ways and be wise. When does the ant work? All day, every day, spring and summer. And fall. Why? Because the ebb is coming. Winter. So be reminded confidently to know that ebb and flow will always occur. And once you recognize what stage, polarity, that you're in with the ebb and the flow, now you will know how to behave. Right? You know that that apple harvest is coming. You know that the squash harvest is coming. What are you going to do when that harvest comes in? You better start planning in the ebb because they're growing. So plan in the ebb what you want to become. Oh, yes. You gonna have all them string beans and carrots and them okras and them onions. Hello, pickle, pickle, pickle. Preserve, preserve, preserve to get you through the winter where you can grow nothing in the ebb, but you can plan in the ebb so that when the flow comes, you're ready to go. That's how you change your life, through awareness. But again, it does take practice. Step one, know what you want to become. Can you become it? The ebb is used to train and to practice. Because what you're going to do in the flow, be it. So you see, my beautiful friends, today, walk like my young Roo with your chest out. Why? Because you know that the principles are always on and you know how to apply them. So you don't have to, as Bob Marley said, I don't want to wait in vain for your love. You don't have to live in vain. Now you live with purpose. But here we are in these their streets looking for purpose. Then we make purpose by our very existence. Anyway, that's what I'll tell you today, my beautiful friends. Who's here kicking it with us? Well, I don't know who's on YouTube today because they haven't made themselves known, but I see their numbers on there. But they haven't dropped a hello, Angela, in the chat. But I'm going to say, hello, stranger, I see you. Hello, I see you in these YouTube streets, YouTube, Facebook, and TikTok streets. I see you. Twitter, well, Twitter is as Twitter does. Tumbleweed Twitter. But they do catch the replay. So I'm not fretting. Who's with us on Fanbase today? Oh, Miss McQueen. Hello, girl. We got Ray Ray. Maggie is in the house. Hey, KZ. Moon and Dolphin Duck. Oracle Tree House. Aren't you on like day 98 almost? You should be at day 100 by now. I'm so proud of you. All it took was practice. Tee-hee. That's all it took. See? So today, as you go through your day, oh, 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 somebody's ready. Um, I'm just looking. Ray is in the chat. They're just flirting it up. I love you, Ray Ray. You're awesome. You're awesome. Listen. Oh, oh, oh. Somebody's a little cranky. You can't get your footing yet? I can hear him. Good morning, sugar buns. I see you. He's awake. Listen. Practice. You think he got that good overnight? He practiced because he heard. So you and I just have to practice. What are you going to practice? Observing yourself and seeing what you're doing. Because that's where the awareness emerges. The awareness is always there. But it emerges more when you pay attention to it. Slow your roll. Slow down. Slow down. And you will see it. And in the taking of your time, you see, we rush through everything. And then when there's something we really enjoy, we want to take our time, but we don't know how to take our time because we've never practiced taking our time. We're always in a hurry. Oh dear. I could say something there, but I shan't because I'm a lady. so I won't say it. But take your time to observe yourself. And when you see what you're doing, recognize that you're in the ebb. That's why you can see it. Because when you're in the flow, you don't. So when you see it, you're in the ebb. When you see it, you're in the ebb. And that is where you take the time to say, wait, I want to do something different. And you'll begin to see in your mind's eye what that different thing is that you want to do. And so the only place to rehearse it is in the mind's eye over and over and over again. You say, yeah, that's what I want to do until it feels natural. Because you're doing it deliberately. So that now, because you spent the time in the ebb to apply, that's what you'll flow with. What you've just practiced and rehearsed. Where? In step 2, experience in imagination what you would be doing in reality if you were the man or the woman you wanted to be. That's what we're doing. So, with that, my beautiful friends, I leave you this morning with that. Test it out for yourself. I'm not sitting here telling you, I'm laying here. I'm not laying here telling you, oh, I got all the answers. I have no answers other than the principles, and they're not answers. Right? It is up to you to test it. And then we hear the question, but Angela, wouldn't that be confirmation bias? Who? Confirmation bias is man's word, but correspondence as within, so without. It's not a bias. You see that which you have inside, because as within, so without. It's not a bias. It's not a judgment. But the only way you are going to know for yourself is to observe. And it doesn't matter how dark and despairing you might think it is in this life. When you see what you are doing, you will know and you will comprehend or understand that, wait a minute, I can change. I can change. There's an ebb and a flow. I can change. That is what will cause the joy to bubble up inside of your chest. That. And you think, remember that scene in Sister Act where she's singing to James Brown, get up off of that thing and dance to you, feel better. You remember how they put the cloak on her and she shrugged it off? Ow. That's exactly what you do when you recognize what you've been doing. You shrug that bad boy off. You shrug it off because it can no longer influence you because you're no longer in the dark about it. And that is what true joy is. And that's what will cause you to walk the way you do, talk the way you do, move the way you do. So that when somebody comes along and says, well, who are you? You will know exactly who you are because you will say to yourself, well, I was walking in the darkness, but now I can see the light. The light of what? Understanding that I don't have to remain the way I am. And so nobody can come along and rob you of your joy. Nobody can rob you of it. That's why. Because it wasn't there for somebody. Nobody gave it to you, so they can't take it. You unlocked it. Anyway, let me go. Let me go get my babies ready for the day. I gotta give them hugs and kisses. I just do. Because they're so sweet. I do. I have to give them hugs and kisses. So they know I care. And as you go through the day, my beautiful friends, if you don't know, now you know. And all it takes is practice. Oh, countdown initiated. 5, 4, 3, 2. That boy. on. Let this mama hanging. All right, y'all. I love you. And as always, I look forward to seeing you on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, fan base tomorrow, 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you want to hang out with us. I love you.